Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's time to turn it up and let the music flow. Step behind the curtain, take a front row seat. Talking rock and roll, got the stories on repeat. From classic hits to brand new sound, we're digging deep where legends are found. The show, let's go. Dr. Rock's backstage pass. Yes, yeah. We're talking concerts, riffs, and tracks. From past to present, the music lasts. Turn it up, let's have a blast. Let's play. From vinyl spins to streaming waves, chart toppers, deep cuts, the songs that stay. If you've got a band, let's hear your sound. Songs that stay. If you've got a band, let's hear your sound. We'll crank it up and break it down. Let's rock, let's rock. It's time for the show, let's go. Dr. Rock's backstage pass. We're talking concerts, riffs, and tracks. From past to present, the music lasts. Turn it up, let's have a blast. Let's party. What's your favorite? What's the best show? What's the top track? Let's roll it back. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Dr. Rock's backstage pass. Let's ride. Music memories come alive. New tunes, old grooves. Showtime.
Oh, that's right. I kicked this goddamn box the other day. I was like, why is there anything in the shot? But I was moving, and I kicked the box, and I must have moved it about 3 feet. So.
Oh, Nirvana.
You know, I still don't listen to it.
I don't like Nirvana.
I
like 2 songs.
But like Pearl Jam, I don't mind that album. 10 was okay. But, you know, it was still, to me, it was more Soundgarden or Stone Temple Pilots was more of the two that I really listened to out of the big four of metal, or of grunge, if you want to call it. Alice in Chains, too, yeah, because they had more... They had more substance to their music. So welcome back.
Are we recording?
Yes, you are.
Oh,
we're already recording. Cool.
I'm taking stuff out of my pocket.
It's all right.
That's okay. He'll edit it.
So since the last time you were here, now you can't pull anything. You can't pull anything off my table.
Oh,
it's all right.
You can't bend it by leaning.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't have my knife on me.
You can lean on it. No, it's not going to fall over.
No, that's why I pulled something off, because I couldn't lean on it. So.
He was just telling Mary she needed to hurry up and make my table. Is what he was doing.
An awesome table.
Yeah, Mary did a good job with it. So,
yep,
definitely looks better on camera than live.
So we were having a ball before this, ripping on
chips,
and Ponch with his hairy six-pack, hairy chest, riding a motorcycle down the highway, and nobody really. Really, Ponch? Come on.
Yeah, that's what that show turned into.
See, and I hadn't watched it in forever, other than a couple of reruns here and there, and wasn't really
motorcycle chases with no traffic.
No traffic.
Yep.
Zero traffic in LA. In LA, yeah. And on the highways, there's no traffic.
And no John.
But the thing is when there was traffic, they were spaced out perfectly so he could go like this in between the cars. Yeah, I've
Split
driven in
traffic.
California. That shit don't
No.
happen up there. No, over
And the
there.
new guy was
He had that big old ugly chin. He looked like
Johnny Bravo.
hey, with a big old knuckle chin.
Yep.
So we were talking earlier about Blackstone Cherry.
Yep.
Now, you said you just got tired of hearing them because it was the same over and
Yeah,
over.
I worked at a factory on the production line, and a couple of the guys are just, that's all they listen to. Over and over and over. The first album.
Oh.
So it was just that every day for 10 hours a day.
Okay,
So
yeah, no.
I just got tired of it.
Because
They're a good band. They are.
They're
some
actually
songs,
playing, what is that? August
10th or something.
August. It's a Friday night, but they're playing down by St. Cloud at a little outdoor Sauk Rapids at a little outdoor like venue thing, and tickets were only like $35.
They're one of those bands that just didn't break that.
I mean, I'm actually thinking about going down and just to say. I mean, I saw them once back on their first album, but now that I've heard them, dude's got a great voice live.
They're a good band.
I mean, I'm really thinking about just going down and seeing them. Just pay the $35 or $50, I think, with all the fees and everything.
Oh.
But you know what? It's to me. I've listened to enough of their stuff now. I didn't listen to them back when they were popular, other than the singles, because as a DJ, I had to keep up on the top rock stuff. So like White Trash Millionaire and Blame It on the Boom Boom and all that. That was getting that.
Not their best songs.
No, their dirty rock stuff, like what was the other band that was out at the time? The Porn Star Dancing guy. My Darkest Days.
Yeah.
And Nickelback and Puddle of Mud, where they were all kind of like sleaze rock
of the 2000s.
Of the 2000s, and the sad thing is that they have. Well, from the last episode I did with Patrick Dennis, he actually brought up a point that they're actually related to the Oak Ridge Boys. Two of them are related to the Oak Ridge Boys, so they have the bloodline there of music, and they're a talented band for what they do, and I just think that guy's voice is so authentic.
Well, it's them when you hear them.
Yeah, 100%. His voice is like Ronnie James Dio. As soon as you hear Dio's voice, you know exactly who you're listening to. And now I'm starting to understand that they don't change chords a lot. They start their songs off the same as they end their songs, and all of their songs kind of start off the same. But I guess it's one of those when you have a winning combination, kind of like Nickelback. Look, I don't care what people say. They can call Nickelback all the things in the world they want to. They knew how to write a hit song that would be on the radio, and they're going to sell millions of albums, and they're going to have sold-out tours.
Well, they did what they set out to do.
They made money.
Yeah,
I'm
not a fan, but
I'm not I'm a fair weather fan. I wouldn't mind seeing them live because from what I've heard, their live shows are ridiculous.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They're actually playing the end of July with Kid Rock down at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which that would be an interesting mega. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of white people at that one. Let's just say. But I was on a roll earlier today when I'm getting so fed up with shit music that's coming out nowadays.
It's hard to find anything good coming out. It's so much AI.
Yeah.
And you can hear it.
Oh.
And everybody's music is all made to be perfect and fit that standard. We're in the studio right now recording a song, and one of the stipulations with us is you got to leave the humanness into it.
Yeah.
So a little string scrub or any kind of little imperfection that, I mean, within reason, right? But maybe a little imperfection here or something, leave it there, because it's not perfect. You know,
Well,
so
and that's why I brought that up, because listening to, because I'll put on Sirius XM, I'll put on Nitro, because that's the new and the old.
Yeah.
So I'll get some AC/DCs and some Thin Lizzies, but then I'll also get a Day to Remember and stuff like this. And what I've noticed is everything is too clean nowadays.
It's perfect.
And that's not what rock and roll is all about.
And a lot of bands can't reproduce it live.
No, not even close.
So we've always said we don't want to record something we can't reproduce live.
Yeah, listen to that early AC/DC stuff.
Yeah, you hear all the mistakes.
Oh my Lord! Yeah. I don't know how it made it. Well, it was one take.
It's just raw.
It was raw.
That's what I liked about it. It was raw. It was like garage band stuff.
Same thing with the early Iron Maiden and early Judas Priest. It wasn't pretty.
No,
actually, Def Leppard.
It was rock.
It was rock.
Yeah.
It was 5 guys with instruments.
Yep.
And no computers anywhere to be found. They were recording right to the mixing board.
So those bands like AC/DC, Def Leppard, you can tell when Mutt Lange got involved because he made their recordings perfect.
He polished their turd.
Yep.
And
well, they weren't a turd, but he made it very polished. And
Adrenalize was a turd.
Well, but Mutt Lange got involved with them on Pyromania.
And that was
actually High and Dry.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could.
I suppose Bringing On the Heartbreak.
Yeah, you could. That was their first release with Mutt Lange, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
But you could hear how perfect it was compared to
Hello America
the Night,
or Rock Brigade.
Yeah, those were great songs.
Yeah, the On Through the Night was a great album.
I agree.
Actually, a couple of the singles are in my playlist on my...
And Mutt Lange got involved with AC/DC on Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
So, and then that's when their sound got really commercial sounding. Yeah. You know?
How do I pause it?
Don't matter. It's a live show.
It's a live show. Yeah, we're getting
live from New York. It's Saturday night. I've always wanted to do that.
No, I've done the music.
It's Saturday night with your not ready for primetime players.
With your guest appearance,
Dr. Rock and special guest Randy Shrout. So back to that.
She told me that she was going to
who is the other band
on and curl up and not talk to
that
anybody
went
unless it
with
was
I don't know if it was Mutt Lange, but
there was a lot of bands that were with Mutt Lange.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the guy back in the day.
I know
he was the Phil Spector.
He was the standard. Yep.
So I appreciate. Like I was listening to some Great White today, and I appreciate some of those bands that kept their blues influence. Yeah. Great White, obviously Cinderella kept theirs. Tesla's always had the blues influence.
Yep.
Those are the bands. Europe, this album, we were talking about this one.
It's actually a good album.
This is a great album right here.
What's a good album by them?
Is The Wings of Tomorrow.
Wings of Tomorrow.
Wings of Tomorrow.
That's such a great album.
Yeah, that's
before they got
So back to your recording, because one of these times, once you get it done, when you come over, obviously I want to play the song for the people that do watch this. I want to play your new song that you guys are recording. So as soon as you have it ready, I want to have you on and actually get the whole band. We'll get the 3 of you that are close here, and we can have the 2 guys call in on a Zoom call or something. We can get all 5 of you here and play it. Because I've noticed, and now that I've been around you guys as a band now for, you guys been playing how many years?
Since the 90s.
Since the 90s.
Yeah.
Well, Beth and I met in the band, so
when we started again.
So 13 years now that you've been basically back as a band. I can see the difference in your band with the 2 new guys.
Yeah.
I think they bring a new chemistry to the band that
absolutely
allows you to be more free on stage.
Well, and Presley being our full-time drummer now.
Presley,
that's been a huge...
And that to me, she's still I can't believe she's 19.
I know.
And people are, but they have to realize that, to her, it's not, I love watching that girl play.
Oh, yeah. Everybody does. She always has a big smile on her face, and
she loves to play drums.
Yep. And
very talented.
but I've seen the change even just in necessarily your well, the music you play is by far completely different. Well, probably half of the songs are probably different than you were before.
Yeah, probably.
Because the set, I remember that New Year's Eve compared to what I saw at last year's Tall Timber Days. I mean, look, you guys had half the crowd doing the Cupid Shuffle or whatever it was, and I mean, I know there's other bands out there that are variety bands that are, there's what's the dweebs, I think is what they call themselves.
Yep.
Well, there's another one playing here in Akeley,
Twista or something.
Something like that. They basically dress in the loud colors, so they're trying to be another.
That's the niche, yeah.
And that's cool. If you have to have I mean, I kind of had my niche when I was Dr. Rock back then. I'm done with the niche thing. I don't do the jackets. I've got a couple of my ugly shirts left that I wear, but I had to have a gimmick. But that, what, people remembered the intro for the show. I mean, half of the pictures in there are people wearing my jackets because the jackets were the thing, man. Everybody loved those jackets.
I remember the jackets.
When I retired in Florida, when I brought them all to the show that night, and nobody had an idea why I brought them to the show, and I'm like, I want you guys to have a piece of history. I think, what was it, $10 a piece or $20 a piece? And this little old lady, Donna, I love Donna Nelson. If you ever see this, Donna, you're a beautiful lady. Ran right up, boom, grabbed 5 of them. She was like, these are mine.
I sold all 32.
I sold all 32 jackets, and
it's funny how people view that. Our last show that we did, we were in a campground, Quadna. And it was their first time having a band there for the campers, and it went over really good. But we're on break, and this mother comes up with their young daughter. What was she, maybe 10?
10, maybe.
Yeah. She comes up. I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? And she's like, can I have your autograph? And she rips off a piece of paper and throws it on the table. So we all wrote something, and she goes, can my friend have an autograph too? And she rips off another piece of paper. So it's kind of the same thing. They just we're like, we're nobodies, we're okay, so we're all writing our little notes, and then she thought that was the greatest thing, and she stayed up dancing the rest of the night. When nobody else was. She was up dancing, and then of course her family came out, and then they all had a good time. It's the same thing as the lady with the jacket, it's like they just
you don't realize like I realized after July 7th was my last show I did. Yep, July 7th was the last show I did in Florida. And for those first 6 months, something was missing out of my life. And I was like, I'll get over this. I'll get over this because, I'm not a DJ anymore. When you get that little girl, or you get the people that I saw somebody that at Walmart that was at my show on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're like, hey,
hi,
music bingo guy. Yeah. You do realize that you're just feeding that vein to keep me going, because once again, you can't. I had 45 people. Now that's not a big show by any means. That's a small show, but the venue only holds 80. So it was more than half full on my first night there. To me, you can't get me any higher than that.
I know.
And playing on stage.
Yeah, it's fun.
Especially when you have that little girl.
Yep.
And, I mean, I had a friend who has stage 3 prostate cancer, hasn't been out of the house in 3 months.
Yep.
Him and his wife came out. I'm like, what are you doing here? He goes, Return of Dr. Rock. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't miss this for the world. Thank you. Do you really? I mean,
I think it's just you just bring a little bit of
you bring happiness, joy, entertainment.
When we play out, it's 3 or 4 hours. It's just you don't have to worry about anything. Just have a good time.
I don't worry about anything while I'm doing it, and I don't think, and I'm hoping that what I do, what you do, what Beth does, what lets them not think about something for them 3-4 hours. Let them just unwind, and
you can see it because people have their work week,
yeah,
and they're stressed out and they're doing their job and everything, and then we'll play somewhere on a Friday night, and the crowd's out, and you can just see it. They're just ready to just
let go,
just kind of just let the week go and have some fun and dance a little bit, or they're just sitting there talking or singing along to the songs or whatever. That's, to me, you know, our bass player, he's always saying, that guy dancing right there, that's why I do what I do. You know, I mean, and it's the craziest guy in the dance floor doing the weirdest moves, but our bass player just gets a kick out of that, you know, or the little kids.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do, because they're just uninhibited.
Yeah,
you know, the little kids, they don't care. You know, so, yeah, it's fun. And I like to play music anyway, and I like to play in a band. So that's what I get out of it. You know, it's my wife, it's my daughter, it's my good friends. They're like uncles now, you know. Yeah. It's just a good feeling. We get up on stage and can just.
And when it all comes together that night,
yeah,
you hit that pinnacle of the show.
Yeah.
You all know when that pinnacle hits.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that crowd, literally, they're anticipating the next song.
Yeah.
What's next? They've already played everything I love. How could they play? Oh my God, I love this song too. And then they start dancing and they keep dancing because you said it on the first time we were together, and I'll say it again. You have to play what they want to hear, not what you want to hear, because if it was what I wanted to hear and you wanted to hear, there'd be nobody at the shows.
Right.
Well, there'd be about 8 of us.
I got to clarify something about the first episode we did, because I said I don't like when bands do cover songs, and I'm in a cover band, you know. So what I meant by that is if I'm going to see a big band like one of these say, you know, if I'm going to buy their album, I don't want to buy a cover album.
No,
I want to hear their originals. Now, if I go to a concert and they pull off, because we've been to concerts before where they'll pull off a cover and it's like, wow, they nailed that song, you know, something like that. That's cool. That's cool. I won't go buy a band's cover song album.
Striper?
I won't buy it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it.
Isn't it even called Cover Up?
It's called The Uncovering or something.
Oh, The Uncovering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all cover songs.
Yeah, and I've heard it, and they did a great job in the songs, but I don't own it. Because I don't want to hear that band doing cover songs. No. We do cover songs in clubs or at a street dance or something like that, because that's what we're hired to do.
Correct.
But we also are working on our originals too.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm not against cover bands. I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
You know, I think being in a cover band is actually one of the hardest things you can do, and if you're going to play a huge variety of music,
which you do, it's
really hard to do. You put in a lot of time. You got to learn all kinds of different music. The singer's got to remember a lot of stuff. You know, it's all memory. You know, so it's not just rock. You know,
no.
We're
you
doing
guys,
everything.
You guys do disco now. You do country. You do new stuff. Because I mean, like I said, you do Cupid Shuffle,
Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Which Jelly Roll? The
Favor.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great ass song though.
And we're looking at learning a Morgan Wallen song now. So.
Well, you got to play what the crowd's going to dance to.
Yep.
You know, just like, you know, I hadn't put together a music bingo round in a year, so I was like, well, I'm just going to take what my last one I did and just take out some of the real older stuff, because obviously Florida, I was playing a lot more 50s, 60s.
You had older crowd.
No. I pulled out some of the 50s and 60s I knew that were more designed for that. Okay. And I left in Jerry Lee Lewis and that kind of stuff.
The stuff everybody knows.
Everybody knows. And it was more laden with late 70s, 80s, and then, of course, some of the poppier stuff, Justin Timberlake's, whatever. And by the third song, they were already singing along. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, thank you. Because I was just really hoping I wouldn't get there and just take an absolute turd right in the middle of the floor.
Well, so there you go. You talk about Selena and her husband.
Yeah.
Okay. We went and played music bingo with them on Monday, and it was packed in there. You know,
they said it was like 150.
Oh my gosh, that place was just wall to wall people. But there again, every song, everybody's singing. Every song.
Because you're giving them the opportunity,
memories. Yeah,
20 seconds of that song.
Yep.
And of course, you know, they they learned to cut the songs at the best part where people are going to sing along.
And they stop and people keep singing.
Yes.
And that's just the funniest thing.
I trained Sam on that pretty well. And obviously they've gone in a different direction in the music than, and I actually learned a few songs from their music bingo, but they have their specific crowd now that knows their playlists. I don't know half of their songs they play, but that's okay. I'll sing the ones I know.
Yeah.
I still have a good time at their show. I thought they were doing bingo this Friday for my birthday, but apparently they're at Lakes Jam or they're doing something else. So
They're doing the teen dance.
they're doing the teen dance for the Paul Bunyan Days. So I'm like, shit, but that's okay. So the other so the other day, I was listening to. Now I'm going to forget who it was. Shit. I was listening to a band that I hadn't heard in a long time, Firehouse.
Oh, yep.
And I started to realize that they were actually a lot more of a technical good band than they were.
I liked Firehouse.
Yeah.
I did.
I love Firehouse.
And I got to see.
They had some good songs.
I got to see them a couple of times. On their first album, I saw them with Steelheart and Tesla, but then I just saw them recently at Moondance before we moved to Florida. And
it was the summer we came back.
You know, they had their bubblegum songs.
Yeah,
to get on
Love
the
of a
radio.
Lifetime. And When I Close.
Okay, I get it, but their deeper cut songs.
Oh yeah,
they had some really
Rock
good
on the
songs.
Radio,
Yeah.
and That's All She Wrote.
All She Wrote, yeah.
All She Wrote.
All She Wrote was what hooked me on that band. Yep.
The first four tracks off that first album I thought were amazing.
Oh yeah.
The rest of the album was good, but that first four tracks I thought were amazing.
You know what album from the 80s I listened to and I never gave it credit and it got bad reviews and I think it's a great album is Scorpion Savage Amusement.
Oh no, Savage Amusements. And
that was the 80s one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that had Rhythm of Love.
Rhythm of Love is a killer song.
Yeah,
oh no.
All that whole album I listened to and I'm like, man, this was a really good album.
It's like five of the songs are in my playlist almost. That's actually
a great album.
That's actually probably one of my favorite Scorpions albums.
But it got horrible reviews when it came out.
It's because they lost somebody in the band, like the bass player or the guitar player. Somebody left, and
I just thought it was a good album.
Yeah, that was '88 because I was still in high school.
I thought it was way better than Love At First Sting or any of those other albums that were big.
Well, I think there's a Scorpions on here. I thought I had Love Drive on here somewhere. Maybe not.
It's another good album, except
you got your balls to the walls, man. So here's one that's been coming up a lot lately. I have a feeling they must be doing something for this band as an anniversary or something, because literally on Nitro, about every ninth song, it's fucking Motorhead.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously it must be the death of Lemmy or
probably
Mick or whatever they're.
Yeah.
But Filthy Phil, Phil the Filthy Animal. But there were actually a couple of songs I was like, if Lemmy wasn't singing it, it'd actually be a pretty good song.
Just never.
I don't get. No.
I get it. I give him credit, but he wasn't my thing.
They had a huge following.
I know they did.
Huge following.
Yep.
Motorhead, especially
biker crowd.
You saw the guy with the Motorhead T-shirt, and you were kind of like, "That's a badass."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
It's like
stay away from that guy.
Stay away from that guy. You probably smells like Marlboro cigarettes and whiskey in ninth grade.
Yep.
So
Motorhead,
Ace of Spades.
That's Beth's favorite song.
I love that song.
Ace of Spades. You see the look you got?
I don't like any of their songs.
Can you feel the love?
Can you feel the love in the room tonight? Oh yeah. So,
you know what another favorite of hers is? Every Breath You Take.
Oh my god, I hate the Police.
I don't hate the Police.
I like the Police.
Wrapped around your fingers and
They had good songs. They had some.
They were
songs.
technical.
They were very talented.
They were very talented.
In fact, Alex Lifeson from Rush tried to play like that guitar player.
Yeah,
so that was his influence.
They are. One of those bands that I just
they were just out of the box.
Yeah.
They weren't like anybody else then. I thought they were good. I did, but
Rush is another one that I didn't give enough love to back in the day. I like
them, but
I went
okay. So I grew up in Canada.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I mean,
no, I'm proud of it.
no, be proud of part.
Calgary, Alberta, mostly. But so I grew up.
That's why
it's funny because we've gone up to Canada a couple times to visit family, and when you cross that border, all the American music stops on the radio.
Yeah,
and you switch over to Canadian, and she's like, "I've never heard this before." And I'm talking bands like Chilliwack, Toronto, you know, Loverboy, of course,
Loverboy,
Helix
was
you
huge.
know, Kick-Axe. Shout out to Kick-Axe. That's the guitar player that taught me how to play.
Yes,
back in the day.
In the
you know, all those bands. Triumph was huge for me growing up.
Magic Power comes on.
So you either were a Rush fan in Canada or a Triumph fan.
Yeah, one or the other. Like,
you know,
Gandalf, isn't it Triumph that he loves?
Yeah. Triumph.
So,
he loves Triumph.
I love Triumph. I mean, I can listen to Triumph.
But Magic Power is the only one they play on Nitro. That's the only song they play on Nitro.
There's so many good songs.
I know. It sucks too.
So Triumph was my band in Canada. That
they were
out of those two. You know, I was the Triumph guy.
I think I have Triumph. I think I have like half a dozen Triumph.
Connected
CDs.
with their music more than Rush. You know,
I don't like Geddy Lee's voice.
Too prog for me. You know, especially some of their songs were like kind of out there.
Oh, some of their songs.
Canadian?
Rush was
very Canadian.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, from Toronto area. Yep.
Yeah.
Brian Adams. That was another one. Yeah. So I mean, I grew up with all that. You know, and so it's funny when we go to Canada. Of course, she knows the big songs, Brian Adams, or whatever. But all those bands that didn't quite make it, the Headpins. I mean, and they were female-fronted bands that I listened to up there. I mean, all of those bands. She's just like, I've never heard this. You know. So it's just funny.
So it was the only thing they would play up there is crossover stuff, though. So like Brian Adams.
Yeah. I mean, we heard American music too, but when you go to Canada now and you tune in the classic rock station, like we have 105.5 here or whatever it is, when you tune in those stations, it's Canadian classic rock.
Damn, I want to go to Canada.
So
I want to experience. I mean,
you're going to hear some of the hits that you heard, obviously, like Brian Adams.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But some of those bands that weren't as big.
See, I'm thinking Winnipeg's only a 7-hour drive, and I've always wanted to see a hockey game in another city.
Anvil, I think they were Canadian.
They were definitely Canadian. And Killer Dwarfs,
Canadian.
Well, like Beth said, Corey Hart.
He was around with the guy in chains. Oh no!
Never Surrender.
Never Surrender. That's a good song. That was a good song.
Surrender was a good song. That was. I like that one more than I like Sunglasses.
1,000 Foot Crutch is Canadian.
I know.
I love that.
So
I love TFK.
Yeah. So I mean, there you go.
That was one of the subjects I was going to bring up too. Is remember when we both went away from secular music for a long time? Oh my God, that must have been.
But there was a lot of good bands coming on.
There were some great
Christian bands. Pillar.
Here, I was going to ask you about this when Thomas's episode.
Huh? Skillet. I never,
Hawk Nelson.
Nelson, yeah.
Didn't they play at the ground floor?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay. I got this.
So I was in a band at the ground floor, and we opened for some of the bands that went on to be pretty big, like For Today.
Yeah. Oh, I remember those days. We'd go down there.
A band called Hands. They got
Hands. I remember Hands.
August Burns Red came there.
August Burns Red before they were big.
I still got all my backstage passes from those shows. It was kind of cool,
No, I remember when we had the ground floor. Would always have those great band.
Those were good times, though.
That was before. Well, I mean, that was before technology. Kind of before technology. Nobody had. Not everybody had a cell phone back then.
No.
If you did, it was just a standard flip phone.
Yeah.
And it was
a little Nokia.
Yeah, to talk and text was all you could do.
Yep.
So you had to find something to do.
Yeah.
And ever since the first smartphone came out, people have been getting dumber.
But the Christian band thing, there was a lot of good bands coming.
Oh, Falling Up was one of my favorites that came up at a time. 1,000 Foot Crutch.
I got into Living Sacrifice.
And
man, I can't think of all.
Storming the Gates of Hell. That was what Demon Hunter.
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah, they're still.
As I Lay Dying.
They started off Christian. I don't think they.
Well, they ended up Christian still, but that singer
Yeah,
had a lot of issues. So,
he's got a lot of issues.
So they're done.
Yeah,
everybody walked.
Well, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I remember that. I went head first into that after I got saved in 2004 by you, by the way. Remember that phone call?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. We were praying just for me to get saved, and while we were praying, phone rang. Kept ringing. We didn't let it interrupt us. We just kept praying and kept ringing. As soon as we were done, phone stopped ringing. And then I called her and she said it wasn't me.
It was at my house, wasn't it? You were at my house.
Yeah. Yep. But then that was when I sold everything, man. I sold all my CDs, all my cassettes, all my vinyl. I got rid. I am not listening to that shit anymore. I'm listening to nothing but Christian music, and I jumped into the Michael W. Smiths and everything.
Yeah.
And
who was the one you liked about that female?
I
really liked a female Christian.
Benjamin Gate?
No, that's a rock band. I'm talking like she was like a pop singer.
It's a Christian. A Christian pop singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a woman.
Was it J.C. Velasquez?
No. I know if I heard it. Anyway.
Yeah,
we had all that stuff, and our kids listened to it. And of course, we were in church, and I played in the praise band, and then I played in
Rachel Lampa.
Rachel Lampa.
Yeah.
And then of course, I was in a band with J.J. Snell and his to-be wife. And,
Crystal.
And that's the one that we were opening for
all those. Yeah,
all these bands.
You guys were good. You guys were good.
Yep, it was fun times then.
Yeah.
And then we played the ground floor, and then we ended up kind of going on a little thing around the northern Minnesota, and then they wanted us to play down at Sunshine, and I'd have to quit my job and all that, and we had kids at home, and I was just like, no, I can't do it, and he went on to do it. Jeremy did.
Yeah, Jeremy did.
Yeah, he ended up getting pretty big there for a while. So
Sunshine Festival, that's not still going on, is it?
I don't think so.
I would assume it probably canceled during COVID.
Yeah, probably.
Just like I know Matthew.
Well, and the lack of Christian bands, I think that
true. They're really
has a lot to do with it too.
Because even now, like some of these bands that I see out there that you kind of think, oh, maybe they could be, and then you look at some of their songs, you go, no, never mind.
Thing that saddens me about the Christian bands is there's a lot of good musicians, a lot of good bands out there, and just because they're Christian, they're not going to make it. And I think that's really sad. They're not going to be the next Striper,
No.
So I think that's sad because there's a lot of good bands out there. I mean, there was.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple of the bands I've heard of are still going. Like, Third Day's still around, but they're now doing more praise and worship stuff. There was one I just heard their name the other day.
Who's the big Christian band? Mercy Me.
Yeah, they're still doing stuff. Yeah. But
they probably kind of gained that fame like Striper did, But
my CD player in the other room. I mean, I have KJ52 and I have Toby Mac and I have all that stuff in there because
there you go, early 2000s.
KJ52, man, he was a great rapper. I mean, he is a great rapper. I shouldn't say was. He's a great rapper, and he gave me something that I couldn't get because I wasn't listening to the secular music at the time. He was giving me an Eminem. Because that's really what he sounded. He sounded like a fun Eminem. Kind of like the green Eminem. I don't know. But
let's just leave that right there.
Yeah, let's just leave that alone. But
that where it sits.
It's fun to reminisce about music because once again, if you don't talk about it and you don't keep bringing it up, it's going to get forgotten about, and then it'll go away. Just like the 80s, we got to keep playing the 80s music because, Lord Almighty, KQ92 out of the Twin Cities now, 25 years.
But I'm going to tell you this, and we actually were just talking about it, Beth and I, the other day. We play a good variety of 80s songs. And it's sad to say that some of the big songs that used to get people out dancing and interacting are not going over anymore.
Well, no, they're tired of hearing them,
They're tired of hearing them. So, like, Journey, we dropped. Getting ready to drop Bryan Adams. That was the one. So that was the one song. Summer '69. I know everybody's like, "Oh, everybody plays that song." But here's the thing: we put it halfway through our second set because first set is a crapshoot.
Yeah.
People aren't having a good time yet. They just got to the bar. They're just starting to get a couple drinks.
Yeah.
We put it halfway through the second set, and if nobody has danced by then, usually Summer '69 gets them out. And we do Summer '69 now, and they just sit there and look at us. A lot of people do.
It's not even in my music bingo.
So I don't like the song.
I never have.
It's not something I would listen to, but it's an anthem song. Okay, so like Rock and Roll Night, anthem song. You have your anthem songs. That's one of them. Everybody knows that song, but I just think they're getting tired of hearing it. You know.
Well, now the age group that's out at the bar,
the '90s kids,
our '90s kids.
Yep.
I was just going to say,
talking about that.
KQ. If it's 25 years or older, it's considered classic rock.
Yep.
Which means now everything from the Green Day
is classic rock.
Is classic rock.
Yep.
The Dookie album is considered classic rock. I'm like, how?
And that's a huge album.
Oh, it's gigantic
still to this day.
Oh, it's what brought modern punk to where it is.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about the punk scene.
White Zombie's classic rock.
White Zombie. Rob Zombie is on the classic rock station.
Yep.
But the nice thing about it is they dropped a lot of stuff off of there that just needed to go away, and they kept the great '70s and the good '80s stuff. So there's still a good. I actually think it probably made them better because it expanded their My buddy runs KAKK here out of Walker, and it was real classic, like 50s, 60s, classic 70s, early 70s stuff, oldies.
Yeah.
And he called me up one day. He was like, "Oh my God, the world is gonna! This is the greatest day in the world. They gave me a new library. I've got all this '80s stuff now." I'm like, "Oh shit, '80s is 40 years old."
Yeah.
So that would be considered oldies.
I think the rock station in Rapids is switching their format to be '90s and newer rock now.
Oh,
that's what I heard.
Why?
That's what I heard.
No,
I don't know.
I listen to KMF.
KOZY.
KOZY.
Where Dano works.
Yeah.
Oh, KOZY doesn't. That station doesn't play anything.
No, I said I heard they're switching.
Oh, they have their third station, the Power Loon or 10.
Yeah,
they have three stations.
Somebody was telling me they're switching their format. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, that would be awesome because we could.
I don't want to give misinformation.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's just what I heard. But what I'm trying to say is it kind of proves a point that's the listening audience now, and we've noticed, and our bass player has made this kind of observation. He's like, "Do you notice our '90s stuff is the stuff that's going over now?" You know. And we do. It has to be certain '90s. It can't be just any '90s.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain type of '90s that.
Does Blink 182 go over?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yes. So it's that kind of '90s. Alanis Morissette, stuff like that. There's a certain kind of '90s, like the radio '90s, that was really just blah.
Oh,
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, and like Flagpole Sitter by Harvey Danger.
It's like, all right, no, it's not that. It's the harder rock and
the more edgy stuff.
The more edgy stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's what the '90s was, man. It was edgy rock.
Well, the rock was.
Yeah,
but a lot
the rest of it was garbage.
Music was just acoustic.
Yeah,
folky. Jewel,
and
which is fine. I mean, there's a place for that too, but it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of Jewel CDs. I don't listen to them; they're still in the Jewel cases.
Well,
kill me.
The last show we played, we were getting requested 3 a.m. Like
Matchbox 20 though.
Right,
hey.
but I mean, it's not. We don't hear that.
No,
we never used to hear that. You know what I mean? And I know it's just one show, but I'm just saying, like, it's like these are the people that are out doing the thing.
It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely.
Yeah. And I think we got requested Creed.
Yeah, but those are people our age.
Well, the one guy wasn't. The one guy that asked me about 3 a.m., he was quite a bit younger.
So, and that's the thing. So, and I think I mentioned this on our first episode, was I grew up in the 80s as a teenager.
Yep.
But my real years I spent in the bar was in the 90s.
Yep.
So that's the music that I've actually been associating with more of lately.
But what bars were you hanging out in? Because the ones I hung out in, they were 80s bands.
Well, I was the DJ in the night in most of the venues I was playing at, so I was trying to play top.
I'm thinking back in the Rendezvous days when.
Oh yeah, no Rendezvous
in the
days.
90s, you go out and watch a band, and they were playing all the 80s hair metal.
Yeah,
So.
No, I guess my DJ stuff when I was out doing stuff, it was I was.
I understand.
I was trying to stay
current,
so I would be playing 3 a.m. and Back to Good and
I think that's
Push. I want to push you.
I think that's the niche with our band is we try to do that. We try to play some of the classics, but we try to play current stuff too.
Well, you have to.
And a lot of people like Jelly Roll gets a good response.
Just because
not
I'm
so much
54,
dancers, but a lot of people are singing it.
Just because I'm 54 doesn't mean that I don't like. I mean, I listen to Ice Nine Kills and I listen to A Day After Tomorrow and the all the other bands because they all kind of meld together. They all look like the same. They all look the same too. They all.
I think for me, the new stuff is there's no good like rock bands.
No, they're too industrial.
For me, it's either like really heavy screamo.
Yeah.
Which some of that is kind of cool for a little bit, or it's really mellow.
Yeah.
Really just like no drive to it. It's just really,
if a band was to come out nowadays,
bands, you look at Guns N' Roses in the 80s, they kind of went away from the hair metal thing and they were just a rock band.
Yeah.
They did it, That's what I'm talking about. There's no good...
We need a band to come back out like Pantera did with Vulgar.
Yeah, I agree.
Just come out and re-establish rock and metal. Hard rock.
Yeah.
Somebody to reestablish it for us because right now it's cookie cutter. They're just going, let's keep putting out these bands, Bring Me the Horizon and all these.
And they're all good bands.
They're all great bands. They all have a really good song that I like of them.
Yep.
I mean, like Wage War.
Wage War is one of our favorites. We love Wage War. If I want to listen to something heavy with breakdowns.
Oh, the breakdowns in Wage War.
Wage War.
Breakdowns are just stellar.
What was the other one that newer band that we were listening to there for a while?
See, I like not Sleep Token. I like Sleep Theory.
Oh, I've heard Sleep Theory.
Sleep Theory is really good.
Chaos Bay. The breakdowns of those guys is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
See,
great,
to me,
man.
there's I was gonna write it down. There was one I found. I think the band was called Dynamite. It's a newer band. There's he does a 6-5-4. No, 6-5-4-3-2-1, and there's a breakdown. It was on. I'll have to look it up.
You have to find it and send it to me.
Oh my lord! I literally had to pull over to the side of the road I was driving. I'm like, that is the greatest breakdown
You
ever.
can't stop. You can't help it. Like
I just literally had to pull over. I'm like, that was an amazing breakdown. And then I grabbed my phone and I looked at it. I'm pretty sure they were called Dynamite. I'll have to look on
I've actually
Nitro.
been getting into some of the stoner rock lately, just because it's just rock. I mean,
it's because they all have instruments. They're playing regular instruments.
It's just raw sounding, and it's. I like it.
See, that's why I like Blackstone Cherry so much, is because they're playing instruments. The whole band is playing an instrument. There's no sippa sippa sippa, and their breakdowns. Actually, Blackstone Cherry has some pretty good breakdowns.
Yeah, they do.
Shinedown's new one, Dance Kid Dance, has. Shinedown doesn't do breakdowns. They have a breakdown in that song that is probably like, I know you probably are not a fan of it back when like Korn got mixed up with like Skrillex, when all of a sudden everything just goes.
Yeah.
Woo! First time I heard that, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear that one live because. With that really, really low bass.
I never got into the dubstep.
Like the fieldy drop D stuff.
Yeah.
They really bring the bass in that song. But it's another one of their songs about addiction. It's, the pills will make you dance, and they're trying to. I appreciate the bands that get sober and then they write songs, just like, as much as I did not care for Papa Roach back in the day.
Right.
I didn't like Last Resort. I didn't I didn't like Scars. Until I realized that all of his songs he's writing about are anti everything. And now you see him, he's clean and sober. He also is 100 pounds heavier. He's got face tattoos. But when he's live,
he looks like he puts it on a good show.
Oh, we saw him in Florida.
We saw him in Tampa with Shinedown, and he lost his wedding ring, and he stopped the show. He's
I
like,
remember you telling me that. Yeah.
he's like,
We
look,
found the video on YouTube.
my wife's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to please bring that back to me, and he got it back on the next song.
That's cool.
But
that was the first time we heard lights on.
yeah, leave a light on,
Leave a light on. Oh, love
and the
it.
whole crowd held up their cell phones. The entire arena was
Went
lit.
from lighters to cell phones.
Yeah, I know.
I'm actually getting chills thinking
Everybody's
about
got their cell
how
phone up
that
now.
looked. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I gained a new appreciation for Jacoby after I watched a 30-minute documentary on YouTube about Papa Roach, and I was like, okay, this guy's been through hell and back twice, and now he's clean and sober.
Head from Corn.
Head from Corn, same thing.
Nikki
You know,
Six.
Yeah.
6 a.m. They had some
6 a.m.
songs.
that was a
Life
great
is
album.
Beautiful. That was a
I
great
love
song.
that.
That whole album,
Great song.
the Heroin Diaries,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was about his addictions. And, I mean,
That was a great album.
locked up
cool.
in a closet with a shotgun, thinking
Yeah.
that people were coming to get him, and there was nobody coming.
Yeah.
See, drugs are bad. Drugs are bad. Okay. Don't do
do
drugs.
yeah.
Don't do drugs. Just smoke weed and drink alcohol. Because weed is not a drug. It's natural. So the other one I wanted to talk about was Sammy Hagar.
Mhm.
So he's finally looking old.
He's still rocking it, though.
He's like 78 or
I
But
know.
he still sounds the
He's
same.
the same age. He's the same age as Bill Clinton. So if you think
Yeah,
about
but how
that,
old's Keith Richards?
Oh my god.
Come on.
He's already dead like
Come
Mick
on.
Jagger's 81.
Okay, so,
So-
Sammy's still got a ways to go.
Sammy's got 3 or 4 more years in
And
him.
all the tequila, it keeps him,
Keeps him keeps him pickled. But that new video
Preserved.
that he did, now I was a big fan of it when it first came out. Now I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's
the
okay.
one about the Eddie,
Yeah.
the dream he had about Eddie.
Yeah.
It's an okay song.
It's an okay song. I do like the encore, good night, thank you, or whatever the name of it is, because I mean that's
That's the Eddie song.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the name of the song.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just
yeah.
because it's maybe it's his swan song. Maybe he's saying I'm done. Maybe that could be the other reason why he wrote it. But I just like the fact that he can still and I am bitching about I'm 54 years old and I'm like, he's 78. He's lived a hell of a lot harder of a life than I have, and he can still get up on stage and do it. So shut up. I got 20 more years in me.
Yeah.
So I just watched a documentary on the Beastie Boys the other day too. Those guys are actually talented musicians.
Yeah. I never cared for him myself.
I believe 4 of their albums, they played all the instruments on the albums.
All my metal friends in high school were all Beastie Boys fans, and you gotta listen to the Beastie Boys. I'm like, I can't do it. I just didn't like it.
I love the Beastie Boys.
I didn't.
I'm going to interrupt you
I didn't.
for a second. Is the microphone that's picking you guys up the one laying on the table that you keep tapping? You're going to pick up so much of that on that microphone. I just thought I'd bring that to your attention.
Well,
I like the look you've given her.
it's going to pick it up if I tap. If it was on this, it's going to pick it
Not
up.
as much as when you hit that table.
Here, we'll go like this.
Yeah, how's that?
There you go.
For all of you at home, that was the speaker test.
Yeah.
If your speakers are blowing,
working?
go ahead and call
Is it
Randy.
working? Is it working?
Testicles 1 2. Testicles 1 2.
Testes.
Syphilis. It works.
Randy's beverage almost came out his mouth.
He almost got soaked there. I wasn't expecting that.
That was from a movie.
Testes, 1 2.
Syphilis.
I'm gonna do that next
I wanna
time.
say-
That was from a movie.
I want to say it was Bill Murray. Oh my god! Was it Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd?
It was from a movie. Might have even been Adam Sandler.
That sounds more like an Adam Sandler thing.
Syphilis.
What movie did Chris do?
She's going to look it up now.
Of course she is.
Well, I will say, Mary, this table is awesome.
And of course, you know what this poster is.
It's Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
The day the music died.
Right.
This was the last show. And then they flew up to Fargo, but only made it off the runway.
Right.
You know,
that must be Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly.
Yeah, it's
Big
Buddy
Bopper,
Holly, Big Bopper.
Richie Valens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Well,
you know why they call him that? Do you know why they call him that?
No.
I think it might have been his first album. How many albums did he have?
2.
Okay, so his first album they recorded in his garage. And while they were recording, there was a cricket in the wall.
Oh, shit.
And you can hear it in the recording. Chirping.
I'll have to go back and
And
look for that.
if you watch the movie, it's in there. And he left it on there, and they called themselves the Crickets.
So, you know, his bass player was Waylon Jennings.
Oh, really?
His bass player and Richie Valens actually switched seats. Waylon Jennings was supposed to be on the plane.
Yeah.
Richie Valens did a coin flip because he was sick.
Yep.
Big Bopper paid for his seat.
Mm-hmm.
Dion and the Belmonts didn't go. But that I think music would be different today if he was still alive. Or if he would have lived, Buddy Holly.
Well, he started the whole double recording, doubling the voice, stuff like that. He was a recording engineer.
Yep.
So
I think
he started a lot of standards that came out later.
Yeah,
I do.
He was an amazing, talented person that just didn't get. I mean, I still don't think he gets the credit that he deserves.
Well, people don't want to hear the 50s.
No,
you know.
But that's where rock and roll started, man. Not this specifically, but
just that era.
Just that era. That's you know. I mean, the first song that. So technically, the first song that they say started was Fats Domino. This is Fats Domino.
Yeah.
That's where rock and roll started with the piano playing with the boogie woogie, the boogie woogie stuff that came from blues, and he put that into his music.
But didn't that come from like the gospel churches?
Yes, it came from the praise and worship stuff, the boogie woogie stuff. So he came from that. So he started the rock and roll craze, and then came, of course, Bill Haley and his Comets with Rock Around the Clock and See You Later, Alligator, and a few other songs. And then, of course, Little Richard, who invented rock and roll. If you ask him, so did Gene Simmons. If you ask him, but I mean, obviously there were others. There was Dwayne Eddy, and there was all kinds of guys out at the time, and girls, not as many, because there weren't as many female rockers as there were males back in that dominated area. But I've always wanted to go back just for like a week during that era, and just,
that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Just to see
the craze take over
when the Buddy Holly and the Crickets took the stage. What that energy was like in that room.
Elvis
oh my God, could you imagine being at an Elvis show? I mean, granted, it's not my kind of, but
no, I mean, it's just to
be able to go back in time and experience all of these things, as much as, you know, go see Woodstock, go see Pearl Jam go see Nirvana. Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw Nirvana with Soul Coughing in 1991 at First Avenue. I had a ticket stub from there. I don't remember if I saw it, but I do. I mean, I was a hammered drunk in 91. I don't know if I was at the concert, if I just happened to get the concert ticket stub. But it was Nirvana and Soul Coughing at First Avenue in 1991. Obviously, it wasn't memorable for me because I don't remember being there. But to go back and to see all of these. Tom, imagine the first time seeing, you know, Meatloaf perform with his theatrics on stage with the scarf and the whole 8.5 minute long epic songs, and Jim Steinman on his piano. I mean, you know, or could you imagine being in the Sunset Strip and seeing these guys before they were somebody? Guns N' Roses? Oh, that would have been great. Maybe they sucked.
I don't know.
I doubt it. Or going to like CBGBs and seeing the Police and the Ramones and all these bands that were nobodies playing for $8 a night because they just needed a place to play.
Yep.
So, what's the timer say on there?
57 minutes.
Right at an hour almost.
Right at an hour.
Brother, appreciate you coming by for another episode. It was an absolute blast.
It's always good talking music.
Dinner was great.
Yeah, ribs
were good on the grill.
Taters. Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually looking. I might have to have a tater before bed tonight,
man.
Well, you still got chocolate ganache.
Oh yes, we got to go have some chocolate.
I'm saying we were waiting for chocolate cake.
Mary's great.
As Roger says,
she made us a cake.
Oh my ganache.
Oh my ganache cake.
So
what was that? Mary's great. She made us a cake.
Mary's great. She made us a chocolate cake. Mary's fine. I don't know what the next line.
I don't know how to rhyme.
I can't rhyme because I'm Vanilla Ice. I mean, what? Anyway, everybody, peace, love, and music to happiness to all of you. Thank you very much for another episode of Dr. Rock's Backstage Pass. We will see you whatever camera's on. Much love. Bye-bye.